Good morning and welcome to GardenStateWeather.com, New Jersey and the Northern Mid-Atlantic region's weather news portal. I'm forecaster Robert Smith and this is our forecast video discussion for Tuesday, August 2nd, 2011. And we'll start things off with yesterday's storm reports for Monday, August 1st, and there were quite a lot of them. Get a lot of questions why there was actually no thunderstorms across northern New Jersey. That was a question I was getting a lot yesterday. And the way that I'd like to explain this is there's been a number of papers that have been written or tweaked over the years, the last several years anyway, to show the convection between southern New England and the coastal plains of New Jersey and then into southeastern Pennsylvania, Maryland, and the Virginias. Now, if you remember on yesterday's broadcast discussion, early in the morning, we had a prefrontal trough which was located across southeastern New England, all the way off the New Jersey coast down into the Delmarva. The areas of the strongest convection were along where sea breezes and the prefrontal trough was lined up, so that's why we're showing a large amount of hail damage with these thunderstorms as they propagated southeast yesterday afternoon across Massachusetts and Connecticut into New York City and Long Island, and also another batch of very damaging thunderstorms on the southern extent of that trough right across central and southeastern Pennsylvania into portions of Maryland and Delaware and Virginia. Obviously, the colors here are indicating in these boxes here hail damage, golf ball size hail. In a lot of these storms across this area here, lightning strikes on houses, and of course a lot of tree damage yesterday too. And the reason for all of these, especially the amount of hail reports that we received yesterday, is that the lapse rates that we talked about yesterday, that is the temperature difference from the surface up to the mid-levels of the atmosphere, was sufficient enough to support the growth of supercooled water droplets, and as the strong updrafts and the thunderstorms created high tops of about 45 to 50,000 feet, a lot of those hailstones reached down to the surface, and of course obviously the much colder air as the upper levels were freezing at about 14,000 feet. So as the air was rising into this, that's where all the precipitation came down in the form of heavy thunderstorms with heavy rain and hailstones as well. Starting things out fresh and early this Tuesday morning, the latest water vapor imagery for the eastern United States. Lots of blacks and reds. This is where a lot of drying is occurring. And of course, in the upper Great Lakes, we have a very active mesoscale convective complex, a grouping or cluster of very strong thunderstorms and surface low pressure. And if we put this map into motion, obviously we want to go forward here, so let's go forward. Put this into motion, obviously it's backing up, so we'll correct that now. Going forward here is the cold front that moved off the coast, and weak high pressure is building in. Can show that upper low now across southeastern Canada with a surface reflection off of Nova Scotia and Maine here as this precipitation continues to move away here. The cluster of thunderstorms that occurred with the frontal passage this morning, yesterday actually, is well off the east coast now. Drying is occurring. I'm going to stop this for a moment now. I want to put on the high density winds. High density winds, the upper levels of the atmosphere all the way up to the lower layers of the stratosphere, showing a very strong northwesterly flow of dry air into the northeastern United States. In fact, a northwesterly flow all the way from the upper Great Lakes, southeastern Canada, all the way into the eastern United States and offshore. Mid-level density winds, not that much different, still a northwest flow through the column and down through the surface, the lower layers of the atmosphere, a northwest flow. Putting in the fronts here's our cold front passing through the area this evening, that is passing through the area this morning. Once that moves through, high pressure, lots of clearing going on here. Here's a prefrontal trough now out ahead across the Great Lakes with another cold front. Here's our mesoscale convective complex over the southeastern Canada, moving into the upper Great Lakes. It's going to be moving into our area, probably now passing southwest through central Pennsylvania and the Delmarva and Virginia on Wednesday and Wednesday night, and then exiting off the coast on Thursday. How close to this complex gets will determine how much rain falls across central Pennsylvania, parts of the Poconos down through the Delmarva area is certainly going to get a lot of rain out of this. How much rain gets into New Jersey east of the Delaware River and into New York City and coastal areas is a little bit iffy at this time. A shift either slightly to the west or east is going to make a big impact on the forecast for the amounts of precipitation and showers and maybe some elevated thunderstorms on Wednesday and Wednesday night. However, it's not going to be a complete washout, but there'll be a lot of cloud cover around. Temperatures tomorrow are not going to make it out of the 70s, probably not even around 80 degrees in New York City and up the into some of the terminals here in New York City metropolitan area. I will say, though, that today, with a lot of sunshine, temperatures will get to or just above 90 degrees, even in New York City, and even down to the coastal plains from Sandy Hook down to Atlantic City. And in the Caribbean and the southeastern Atlantic, we have Tropical Storm Emily at 5 a.m. this morning. And if we overlay some of this with the storm track, the forecast track, and the clouds this morning, we can find a weakly defined center of overcast Hurricane Hunter plane coming in there just after sunrise this morning to investigate. Emily is experiencing some shear, some dry northwesterly winds. Just under the jet and under some of this convection here, and also it is experiencing a northwesterly wind, a west to northwest flow all the way into the southeastern Atlantic here. Right now, they're not forecasting Emily to become a hurricane because it's going to be involved in quite a lot of shear and disorganization, but it probably will take a storm track through Hispaniola, the Dominican Republic, probably passing just west of the Turks and Caicos Islands and up through the Bahamas as we get through Friday and Saturday, and then off the coast somewhere of Daytona Beach and Jacksonville, well off the coast there of Florida by Sunday morning. Right now, the National Hurricane Center is forecasting the storm to remain a tropical storm at this point and remain offshore, except moving through these locations here in the Dominican Republic and Hispaniola over the next 48 hours. And back here in the States, forecasted charts for this afternoon through Friday finds a weak upper trough crossing into northern New England this afternoon. Generally high pressure northwesterly flow and a hot day. Dry though. Humidity's dropping down. Dew points dropping into the upper 50s and lower 60s with no real heat indexes today, but temperatures close to or over 90 degrees all the way from New York City down through the northern Delmarva during this afternoon. Great summertime day. Some high clouds spilling in later this afternoon and tonight, and here comes our next weather system. It's developing a frontal system now, a mesoscale convective complex over the Great Lakes spills down tomorrow morning across the eastern Great Lakes and into northwestern Pennsylvania. And that's where the clouds are really going to start to increase, and the chances of rain, especially across the area on Wednesday morning. We could see some light rain getting into the regions across the Poconos into southeastern Pennsylvania, also just west or east side of the Delaware River through New Jersey. And as we get into the afternoon hours on Wednesday, pretty much a rain event here going on across the New Jersey, New York City metropolitan area down through Philadelphia. We could have a few areas of very moderate to heavy rain, especially across central and southeastern Pennsylvania, also portions of the Delmarva, Virginia, and Delaware, as the surface low on this front move in our as the front and the surface low move directly to our south, and a wave of low pressure moves along it as this whole complex begins to move southeast across the forecast area. And the 6 to 10 day forecast continues to be modified and changed. The heat ridge across the central and southern United States continues to expand back towards the east coast according to the latest progs here, and this would be valid August 7th through the 11th. And precipitation continues below normal or near normal chances across the mid-Atlantic states, above normal across the upper Midwest, and of course below normal in the deep, deep south of Texas. As we get to the 8 to 14 day, heat ridge still across the central and eastern United States all the way to the coast now. This is going to be dangerous for tropical storms here as we're going to make the determination as the Cape Verde season gets underway. And that's all the time we have for today. Don't forget, check out us on Twitter and check out all the latest forecasts and details right from GardenStateWeather.com. I'm on vacation today, and I'll be back probably around Friday. Hopefully we'll have another video by Thursday. Enjoy the weather And thanks for stopping by GardenStateWeather.com. I'm forecaster Robert Smith. You make it a great summertime afternoon.